everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got another issue of the LEGO Ninjago Magazine. Looks like they switched to paper packaging for the minifigures now, which definitely feels a lot lower quality in terms of like the design and everything, but it's obviously a lot more environmentally friendly, so I am all for this change. But this month's magazine comes with a Crystal King minifigure, but actually no, they just call it Overlord on the package. I wasn't expecting that. Spoilers, I guess. I mean, they don't make it that secret in the show or anything, but like in all the official media, he is called the Crystal King. He's not called Overlord in any of the sets, so that's really wacky that they just wrote Overlord on the bag. But of course, as always, we'll take a look at the minifigure at the end of this video. First, let's take a look at the magazine itself. So now you can see the full cover, and it says LEGO toy, Crystal King plus Crystal Sword, Crystal King. So it does say Crystal King here. Just the actual polybag says Overlord. Evil Unleashed, which ninja's forced to use dark powers? New set, Zane and Kai step on it. Secrets revealed, the Crystal Council. Epic comic. Oh wow, so we're actually like going to be in the middle of Crystalized here, because it looks like we have Lloyd defending the Skull Sorcerer, and the Skull Sorcerer is like fully venge-stoned up. That's very interesting. Obviously, Crystalized is finished airing, so there's no like secrets to be revealed at this point, but maybe it'll provide some extra context for things in the show, or just be a fun story. I don't know. We'll have to see. But regardless, I'm very excited. So without further ado, let's get this magazine open. We, of course, have our ad for a collection of core Legacy sets as always. If you guys didn't watch my review of the Legacy magazine actually has an ad for Crystalized, but the Crystalized magazine does not, which is very strange. Okay, yeah, they don't care about telling us that the Overlord is the Crystal King. They're just saying it right here on the first page. But let's turn the page. So first, oh my, what is going on here? Oh my. So yeah, it does just say Overlord, and we have a whole bio page on him. Wow, we just have pictures from the finale. What? Alright, okay, I'm glad I actually didn't get this magazine before the episodes came out, because yeah, you can see the ice climbing up him right here. Har har, this is the time I will defeat the ninja, har har. Guys remember when he said that in the show? That was his iconic line. Get a grip, anyone who looks this mean doesn't need any equipment. The Overlord doesn't see it that way though. He has mastered this awesome crystal blade. Put it on, in order to hide his mean face, the villain-in-chief puts on an even meaner mask. It unfolds and has horns. It's not really a mask in the show, that is just his face in the show. Back again, this guy's as annoying as Back again, this guy's as annoying as homework on a Friday afternoon. So true, so true. The ninja have already defeated the Overlord twice, seasons 2 and 3, and now he's back again in Crystalized. For a long time he bosses his generals around as the Crystal King, then suddenly he shows his true face and his sinister intent, to rule Ninjago City. And yeah, then we have the spoiler image. This mean minifigure is named the Overlord's final form. The ninja are up against it when the mighty supervillain unleashes his limitless power. Alright, now we have a little game right here where we have to count how many masks of each color we have. The color changing effect on these is very uncanny, and then we have to figure out which mask matches the official one. Here we have good times, bad times. So we have a spot the differences game, and then you also have to put these back together. Also, I love this render of Asphera. She actually looks really cool here. Then we have an ad for the LEGO City magazine randomly right here. Alright. This is just a little maze. Then we're at the comic already. That seems a little quick, I think, right? That's quicker than normal. Anyway, here we have Fury in the Forest. So I guess this takes place in Crystalized after Lloyd escapes the Crystal King's temple, and he's wandering around Primeval's Eye. Anyway, as always, I'm not going to read the entire comic to you guys, but if you want to pause the video and read it for yourself, feel free. But if I notice anything especially funny or interesting, I will stop the video and point it out to you guys. So it doesn't look like Harumi's with him. Interesting. Okay, so it takes place before Lloyd escapes with Harumi. This is implying he escaped before, and I guess they're going to recapture him at the end of this comic. Also, because these magazines use the minifigures as the characters, Pythor just permanently has his mouth open, which is kind of funny. Alright, let's turn the page again. Alright, so Lloyd defeats one of the spiders who was coming after him. But now this is the break in the comic, so let's turn to the next page. So here we have a maze. This is just a maze. Oh, but it actually ties in with the comic. That's pretty cool. And you're supposed to count how many crystal spiders Lloyd can see. And then we have the posters, so let me remove those real quick. Alright, so the first poster is this one of Golden Dragon Jay. And I actually think that's really cool. The graphic design on Jay's actual name is pretty nice. And I love how the render looks with him carrying the nunchucks of lightning. And then in the background you have a bunch of screenshots of Jay from Crystalized. Yeah, this is actually a pretty good one. If you're like a really big Jay fan, I could see wanting to hang this poster up. They actually did a really nice job. And this one, oh my, they went all in on the Instagram filter on this one. So we have the entire Council of the Crystal King. Actually, no we don't. No we don't. We're missing the mechanic. Okay, yeah, we're just missing the mechanic. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. This is just like one of those free filters you can get on like a mobile editing app. I mean, like the lines through them's kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, it's just too much filter in my opinion. You can't really tell what's going on. So I'm not the biggest fan of this one, but the J poster is very cool. But anyway, now back to the actual magazine. We have a wonderful we have a wonderful message. Alright, and you have to color in the squares according to these, and then I'll unlock message. Now I'm going to chill a little bit and check page 34, because I want to see what Woo's wonderful message is. It just spells out the word ninja. That's not much of a message, Woo. I would hardly call that wonderful. And this is just a game you have to count how many times you have to turn the wheels. I don't know, that seems a little basic even for this magazine. But now we are back to the comic. I got a typo on this page. Oh no, a carnivorous planet. That is not a planet. I wonder if their quality control went down a little bit, because this is the second month in a row where there's been something a little off in the magazine. Like in last month's magazine, they accidentally included a flesh-colored minifigure, which like in the world of Ninjago, there's only supposed to be yellow-colored minifigures, because the entire point of the yellow skin minifigure is they can represent anybody. But yeah, we had that in last month's magazine, and then this month we have planet instead of plant. It's kind of funny. Alright, but the Skull Sorcerer gets eaten by the planet, but then he breaks through the planet and he's gonna fight Lloyd. Oh no. What? I'm sorry, is that Oni Lloyd right there? Okay. Alright, I haven't read it yet. I just turned the page and saw Oni Lloyd. Give me a moment. Yeah, okay, so Lloyd just turns into his golden Oni form right here. He's fighting in this more than he ever fought in it in the actual show. That's really funny. Okay, so Lloyd decides not to destroy Vangelis because he's like, being evil is bad. And then he goes to escape and he meets the crab from SOG, but the crab has been crystallized too and the crab brings him back. Also, I just realized this takes place before the Crystal King ritual, so none of the villains should be crystallized yet, and like the weapons shouldn't be either, so that's a little bit funny. So yeah, this comic is definitely not canon. Lloyd definitely did not turn into his Oni form before any of this, but it was at least a fun adventure. It wasn't overly goofy. I did enjoy reading it, and with a few small changes it could be considered canon, but yeah, it most certainly is not as is. Still though, I enjoyed it overall. I thought it was a fun comic, and I like seeing comics in the middle of Crystallized. It was cool to see them call back to SOG too with the giant crab monster. But anyway, now we have They Are Back Again! And here we have the bio on Mr. F, Pythor, and the Mechanic. We had a bio on the other three members in the last magazine, so I guess between the two magazines you have a bio on everybody. Anyway, I'm gonna read through all this real quick to see if there's anything especially interesting. I was kinda hoping they'd explain like what Mr. F is, because the show never really did. Like, why is he back? Why is he Mr. F instead of Mr. E? But, no, they did not do that. Okay, it says Pythor is known from season 1, 3, 4, 8, 11, 13, and 15. No, he's not. What are you talking about? Yes, he was in 1. Yes, he was in 3. He was in 4. He was not in 8. He was not in 11. He was not in 13. And if we're calling 15 crystallized, then yes. But if we're calling 15 Seabound, which I think is what they're doing because like it doesn't say Mr. F is from season 15, then no, he was not in Seabound either. Where did they get that? Where did all those numbers? That's a lot of like mistakes. And I would say, oh, maybe is that all the seasons with Serpentine in them? But no, 8 doesn't have Serpentine. 13 doesn't have Serpentine. So I have no idea where those numbers come from, but Pythor were certainly not in those seasons. Then we have the Mechanic, which is kind of cool. The magazine actually confirms the fact that the Mechanic was one of Captain Soto's pirates. That was a fan theory that Tommy later confirmed because he thought it'd be fun to make it canon. But it's cool to see that, like, in an official piece of Ninjago Media actually be called one of Captain Soto's pirates. Okay, interesting. Yeah. There's some cool information here, but nothing all too new. And obviously the magazine isn't always the most accurate. Then we have an ad for Zane's Plane and Kai's Golden Dragon Raider. Not too much else to say about these pages. It's pretty much just advertisements. I mean, I'm sure it'd be cool to look at as a kid, but I don't really need to see them. Alright, then we have a game. Stop Evil Harumi. The ninja must stop the Crystal King's right-hand woman in her Vengestone deliveries. Gather your friends and start the race through Harumi's skyscraper. Harumi's skyscraper, but beware of her Vengestone warriors and traps. I did see this posted to Twitter the other day, but I cannot believe it's real. They made a game out of the skyscraper that killed Harumi in season 9. That's really funny. But yeah, the whole game here looks to be like a shoots and ladder type game, kind of. Or actually, Race to the Roof, right? It's been a while since I played like children's board games. But yeah, Race to the Roof, I think, is more of an accurate comparison. It genuinely looks fun, but the idea of Harumi's skyscraper in the game is very funny. And then we have an advertisement for next month's magazine, which is going to come with a Golden Coal minifigure. That one's exciting, but not as exciting as some of the others. I'd say it's better than this month's magazine, but I definitely would have preferred like Golden Dragon Coal. Because Golden Coal, I mean, the cheapest set he comes in is $45, so it's nice to get him for cheaper. But on the other hand, he does come in 2 sets, so I'd rather get a figure that is more exclusive. But that's okay, it's still a fairly good figure to get. And the extra hood could be used to put on Golden Lloyd, so I actually don't mind that. Also, it looks like the comic is going to be about Garmadon and Vinny, which I'm very excited for. That's probably going to be pretty cool. And then finally, at the end of the magazine, we have postcards. We have the Crystallized poster, that's pretty cool. Best villains. Alright. Maximum power for you. Okay. And then nasty greetings. Do you think anyone has ever actually, like, sent these in the mail? I'm curious. But anyway, I think that's about going to do it for the actual magazine. So now let's take a look at the minifigure that it comes with, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts. Alright, let's get this new paper bag open. It feels very strange. Like, it's not the type of packaging I've ever seen LEGO come in before. In fact, I could just, like, tear it, right? Yeah. Let's pour all the pieces out. They look to all be there. So let's get this guy built up. So here's the Crystal King all built up, and I'm not sure how to feel about this. The Crystal King himself is a fantastic minifigure, don't get me wrong. Hyper detailed, I love the look of the gold printing on top of the gunmetal gray, and like the slight touch of purple and the pinks that peek through. It all looks amazing. The Oni mask piece too is super cool with the sort of like wolf, dragonish design. The gold detailing is absolutely perfect there, and I love how the eyes look too. But my issue with this figure is just this is a very lame version of the Crystal King. Number one, it's the short version of the Crystal King that comes in the mech, and that version of the Crystal King never appeared in the show. He always had 4 arms in the show. And then the other thing is it's not even that figure. He's also missing his armor piece. So that just makes his head look really oversized without any armor there. So all that considered, this guy just feels like he has a weird spot in my collection. He doesn't really fit in. So I wouldn't say it's a bad magazine figure by any means, because it provides a cheap way for kids to get the main villain of the season, and I think that is valuable. But I wish it was a better version of him. At the very least, include the armor that he had in the Crystal King mech set. But ideally, I would have preferred if he came with a full, like, 4-armed upper torso piece. Additionally, the Crystal King just in general does come in 3 sets. Now, they are 3 expensive sets, but if you are someone who has a lot of the sets like I do, I already have plenty of this guy, so I didn't necessarily need another. So I think this is one of the lamer minifigures overall. Not great for collectors, because they already have so many of this guy, but also not great for people who don't have this figure, because it's a very incomplete version of this figure. So as such, I just think he's in a weird spot. I don't know, but it is a very good figure when he's complete. Without his armor, though, his head just looks way too big. But of course, you haven't seen this mask before. It could be flipped up like this, and there you can see his full face print where he has a more Overlord-like design. That face print never appears in the show or anything, but still a very cool, like, non-canon face to get. And then he's got the Overlord symbol around the back of his head. And so, what are my overall thoughts on this magazine? I thought this magazine was fairly solid overall, but it was not one of their best. I actually really enjoyed the comic despite it being very non-canon. I still thought it was fun, took itself a little more seriously. It wasn't a very goofy concept. Like, it was a fun idea to explore. And the game seemed pretty well thought out in this one, too. The minifigure, though, as I said, is lame. The only person I think this magazine is good for is for kids who don't have a Crystal King yet, and are definitely not going to get any of the sets that he comes in. Because for collectors, if you already have a Crystal King, this is just a worse version of him. And for a lot of people, even if you do want a Crystal King, this isn't a great version of him. There's 2 much better versions. This guy is missing a lot, and as such, just doesn't feel great. So I can't say I'm the biggest fan of the figure. And to me, at least, the figure is the biggest driving factor as to whether or not you should get this magazine. So because of that, would I recommend it? Probably not, unless you really don't mind getting, like, a much weaker version of the Crystal King. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this magazine in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO and Ninjago videos just like this one almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!